that's exactly how we built Panama City Toyota, to give you a better experience.
Where your needs always come first. Where you can relax with a great cup of coffee or browse the Heritage Collection. While we help you add the perfect vehicle to your collection. Come see us today at Panama City Toyota.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Introducing Lucid Stream TV. Get over 2,000 live streaming channels. Catch every game of the season with over 100 sports networks, including ESPN, ESPN Plus, the NFL Network, and Red Zone. Even pay-per-view events. Watch local network channels from most major markets throughout the country. Fox, ABC, CBS, and NBC. It's more than sports. Lucid Stream TV offers premium movie channels like HBO, Cinemax, Stars, 200 plus entertainment and news networks, or watch 10,000 movies on demand, including recent theater releases. Just $42 a month when you use the promo code ESPNNW at checkout. Watch on up to 5 devices at the same time. Perfect for sharing with family and friends. Lucid Stream TV gives you everything you want for less. Cut the cord, not the fun. To score Lucid Stream TV, go to ESPNPC.com and click on the Lucid Stream TV logo.
Chloe, put your helmet on.
Okay, Dad.
You work hard to protect your family, but some risks are easy to miss. Mosquito bites can spread germs that cause West Nile virus or Zika virus. Cockroaches leave behind bacteria, as well as allergens that can trigger asthma attacks. Stinging insects send more than 500,000 people to the emergency room every year. Common pests can threaten our health. Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association and the CDC.
Powered by Panama City Toyota. Your home for Auburn Tiger basketball. WGSX Lynn Haven. WVLQ Port St. Joe. ESPN Northwest Florida. The Afternoon Underdogs are on the air.
Live and local.
Weekdays from 4 till 6.
This thing is going to be a financial and cultural disaster.
The Afternoon Underdogs.
Whopper, 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 whopper.
The Afternoon Underdogs are on the air. ESPN Northwest Florida.
that and come on board and try to help local businesses get the word out about who they are and what they do is just a huge opportunity for me. So I'm extremely excited to be here and looking forward to helping people.
Hey, there we go. So let's talk a little bit about your favorite teams. Who are the teams that you follow? Let's start with college football, being that that's kind of king around this area.
Go Tigers, bruh. I'm LSU all the way.
Hey, there we go, and that's kind of a big deal around this area because now we've got the Alabama guy. We've got a ton of Alabama guys around here. We've got plenty of Florida State people, and now we've got someone to root for the LSU Tigers. So hopefully the balance just keeps on playing out. How have you felt about Brian Kelly's time at LSU over there?
Well, he certainly brought in something special to the team, but I haven't really been fond of his tenure here.
Yeah.
I think it's time for him to, let's just say, find a new home.
Hey, there we go. I think he's definitely starting this year on the hot seat, and we'll see how it plays out. But another 8-4 season for LSU is unacceptable.
Yeah, absolutely. The fans won't accept that. People of Louisiana won't accept that, and he shouldn't accept it either.
Yeah. No doubt about that. Now, when it comes to pro football, I'm assuming Saints?
Well, I'm a Saints fan, but as a kid, I used to watch the Patriots practice before they had an indoor facility up in Boston. That's where I was born. So rolling right into baseball, I'm a Red Sox fan, true and true, man, always. So Red Sox for baseball and Saints for football, but Patriots are my second favorite team just because, that's my childhood team.
Hey, there you go. And both of those teams kind of in a rebuilding stage. I think the Patriots rebuild is going to be a little bit faster. Kellen Moore just got hired by the Saints. Do you think Derek Carr should be the quarterback for 2025 for the New Orleans Saints?
He's had a few years with us, and he's been up and down, in my view. I think you give him another year. I think you give him that opportunity to see what the new coach can do and see what he can put on the field. But after this year, I think if he doesn't have a great season, you cut him.
All right.
Move him on.
And then when it comes to baseball, the Boston Red Sox in one of the toughest divisions in all of baseball in the American League East. A tougher year for them last year, but they just made the signing of Alex Bregman. They've got some guys over there, no doubt about it. Do you expect them to make a run back to the playoffs this year?
We expect them to make a run every year.
Every single year, man.
But it's more of a possibility, I'd say, this year. So we're looking forward to it. You never know. We'll check in, preseason and see what happens in the first few games before you can really make a call. But I'm a fan, true and true. I'm a support, true and true. No matter what happens, I'm sticking with them. That's my team.
Hey, there you go. So remind the people how they can get a hold of you here at ESPN Northwest Florida to help their business do the best that it absolutely can.
Well, I got to tell you, we are putting together our March Madness packages.
Yes.
We've got some insane specials that you don't want to miss out. If you have a sports fan in your life, if you have a customer base that's sports-oriented, anybody you know that likes or loves sports, we're the game in town. We're the only game in town, and that we're sports 24/7. So we have their ear and can give you the opportunity to have that conversation with that prospect, that potential customer, reassure your current customers, and encourage them to frequent your business. So not just the March Madness specials. We have programs that last throughout the year. We could specialize a package or a program that would suit the needs of your business and the needs of your clientele. So we're very flexible. That's what I love about, the ownership here in this organization is we're willing to do whatever is legal, ethical, and moral to help you grow your business, to get the job done. That's what we stand for. That's what I stand for. That's what I've always stand for, is do the right thing even when people aren't looking. So if you help enough people get what they want out of life, you're more apt to get out of life what you need. So that's what we stand for here at ESPN. That's what the ownership stands for. And we're just looking forward to work with you and work for you and help you grow your business.
There you go. And give him the number one more time.
Yes, I never gave it to him in the first place.
Hey, yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Yeah. The first, my personal cell phone is 850-896-2004. You can take that number, but also the office is 850-215-6290. My email is Michael at
GSMediaFL.com.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So many emails going around. I got to remember that.
Yeah,
one
it's
still, yeah.
tough, man. I mean, because
is.
we all got one or two personal emails, then we have our work emails, and yeah, it's a flurry of different emails going on in our mindsets all the time now. So, new team here at ESPN Northwest Florida. We're really excited about having Mike McCabe on with us. When AG told me, and I met you, was it Monday that you were first in, or was it Tuesday? So Monday, and then AG came in on Wednesday, and he was like, no, he's good people, bro. And I was like, oh, well, then definitely love having him being a part of the team here at ESPN Northwest Florida. So, Mike, thanks so much for hopping on with us here for a minute. Let's see here. Jaden Daniels, LSU quarterback, right? And then he goes to the Commanders. What'd you think of that rookie season that he just had for the Commanders?
You know, you always want to do better than you do. You always have higher expectations for yourself than you ever produce. And, you know, we always want more, and I think that's the story for me. For him is wanting more. You know, there's more for us to see there. There's more that he can give. There's more that he can show us on the field, you know, and even off the field. So, you know, it's a good start, but we expect more, and I know he expects more out of himself, and we're looking forward to watching him.
Hey, there you go. 850-215-6290 is the number to call or text throughout the show this afternoon, and also a great way to get a hold of Mike McCabe. James, Travis Hunter has said that he is going to be attending the Combine as a defensive back. What do you think about that?
I think it's his best chance to get the most out of the draft for him. I think he is more of a defensive side of the ball kind of guy. I think right now more teams will use him as a corner because wide receivers are important, but corners seem to go down more often.
Right.
So I think he'll have more of a roster room there. Now, I'm not going to say you won't see him on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, you see defensive guys on the offensive side of the ball from time to time and offensive guys on the defensive side of the ball not too often, but every once in a while. So, yes, I think the best move for Travis is to go in on the defensive side. I think it helps increase stock value for him. But I do believe we'll see him kind of doing everything.
Yeah, I'm excited to see about this. I think that he makes the right move here by going to the Combine as a defensive back. I think that's where his attributes will be noticed more as a defensive back, just because he doesn't have the side and particularly the speed as some of the other wide receivers at the collegiate level, and we're moving on here to the National Football League level. Also, what do you think of Shiloh Sanders not being invited to this? Is this a big deal or not a big deal?
I don't think it's a big deal. I mean, it's...
Do you think he gets drafted still? I mean, he's the son of Deion Sanders, which doesn't really matter.
I mean, it matters because, I mean, he's got a name to it, so people will just be drawn to the name, figuring, hey, get the name in, we can sell a few tickets, because end of the day, what is sports all about? Well, for the owners, selling tickets, because that's what they want, more money. And face it, the guy's a third-day kind of draft pick. He's not going to be drafted first round. He's probably not going to be drafted in the second round, probably not the third round. So you're going to see him probably, 4 or above, right?
Yeah. No, I'm excited for the team that drafts him, as long as it's not the Titans. I don't really want to be a fan of the experiment. I think that he's got the talent. We know that he's got the talent. There's no doubt about that. But to see what the ratio is for Travis Hunter to be playing wide receiver and defensive back, and then to Shiloh Sanders, to me, not a big deal. I think he's going to get drafted somewhere. It's going to be somewhere in the later rounds. Hey, Jesse, are you listening? That's Coach V's son there from Bay Haven Charter Academy. Coach V was helping us out there with wrestling against cancer, and I promised Jesse that I was going to give him a shout-out, and I did not do that Monday afternoon, so we're making do on our promises. Hey, Jesse, you keep on hope you're having a great day, and happy Valentine's Day to everyone out there listening. We're going to be right back with Skip Bonder. We've got a great show lined up for you guys. And Mike, thanks so much for hopping in with us.
Hey, thanks for having me. I look forward to working with you guys.
Hey, there you go. Y'all call in now, 850-215-6290 if you have any questions for Skip, or if you want to do some business with ESPN Northwest Florida. You'll be right back. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The Paul Feinbaum Show.
You're condescending, Paul. You talk down to people. You don't respect people. And until you start doing that, goodbye. I'm never calling back.
He's mad at me because he got into the Zoom and had everything working except the camera and the audio.
Paul Feinbaum, weeknights, 6 to 10 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Friday. The remainder of the day, mostly clouds and 65 with a gentle breeze at 10 miles per hour out of the east. Tonight, mostly clouds with lows around 59. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy throughout the day with a low chance of sprinkles in the evening and a temperature near 73. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Discover Kia at Bill Bird Kia during the President's Day sale going on all month long. Are you looking for a fuel-efficient SUV that doesn't compromise on style, comfort, and performance? Stop in today at Bill Bird Kia and let our team put you behind the wheel of your new Kia. Bill Bird Kia is now offering 1.9% APR for up to 60 months on the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sorento. Bill Bird Kia is the home of that 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us today at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sorento with $1,748 per month per 1,000 finance in 60 months. Qualities limited, cannot be combined with other finance offers. Not available on balloon financing. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is the Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete detail. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 3/3/25.
It's go time all the time. Sports talk around the clock.
Oh, my gosh.
Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we are back here in the doghouse riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm David Hayes along with James Fife, and we've got a very special guest, Skip Bonder. Want to remind you guys that we are your home for the Coach James Hale Show in the morning, weekdays from 7 to 9 a.m. And then the Inside Drive should be back with us next week, but it won't be Ryan Mulvey heading it up. Thoughts and prayers with the Ryan Mulvey family right now as he's going to be having surgery next Wednesday. So keep your thoughts and your prayers with Ryan Mulvey and his family. And then also Jamal Smith and his mom, as she's going to be undergoing breast cancer surgery to remove a tumor there. So thoughts and prayers, really just keep your thoughts and prayers everywhere because it's a wild time in our society right now. But we've got Skip Bonder in the building with us. And Skip, how I met you was through Wrestling Against Cancer.
Yeah.
Learned seen a lot of you on Facebook from the Guardians Legacy, and then also this past year, which I've heard about Stuff the Bus, but then now I know who you are. And this past year, throughout the Christmas season, was like, oh my goodness, this guy is everywhere all the time. I don't know, do you have 25 hours, 8 days a week going on, or?
Man, God held back the sun, and He's done it a couple times for me, a couple days to get us through. Yeah, it's crazy because this December, I actually had a couple friends be like, man, I hope you hit your goal because I'm tired of seeing you on my timeline. Because apparently, I did the right thing for the algorithm this year, and people were seeing what we were doing with Stuff the Bus. And I tell people, each year they ask me how it was. And this year was by far the hardest. And what I mean by the hardest is everything leading up to the event, our pace was off, like everything, corporate partners was down. The number of groups that got involved off location was down. Like if you had asked me going in, like how I felt, I would have been like, man, this is going to be a tough year. Mm-hmm. The crazy thing happened when we started day one. People started showing up with toys in record levels. And in 12 years of doing, actually 13 this year, this was only the third time I've ever gotten to come off the roof of the bus on time.
Wow.
And so with everything being against the county, us, right? Us, not me, but us. The county responded as always for the kids in the community, and we were able to provide Christmas for over 6,000 kids here in Bay County through what we call our crazy little toy drive on 23rd Street, because 13 years ago, we didn't even collect 2,000 toys that year. And so in basically 13 years, we've won over 200,000 total toys for Bay County kids.
Say that number one more time.
200,000.
So from 2,000 to 200,000.
Yes. So 2,000
in the span of 13 years. But
13 years. Yeah.
$200,000 is an astronaut, or 200,000 toys, which is way more than $200,000.
Correct.
Is an astronomical number. And it's funny how the Lord works, right? In that situation where it's like, oh, this one might be worse than the first one, right? You're probably going into the year thinking that, and then at the end, when it's all said and done, and you're just grinding, put your nose to the grindstone, doing what it is. The only thing that you know what to do is keep going, keep moving forward. And by the end, by the time that it's all said and done, you're like, how do you even keep track of 200,000 toys?
So God works all things for good for those that love him.
Right.
And so this was an opportunity for us to be faithful and for God to do what God does. And he honors his word for his faithful.
Yeah.
And so, no, it's crazy because you say, how do you keep up with it? Well, early on, year 2 and year 3, we started devising systems so that as people brought in toys, like every single toy is counted.
Yeah.
And so it took us 9 years to reach 100,000 toys, to put that in perspective. But year 10, 11, 12, and 13, we collected 100 more thousand toys.
Wow.
And so by year 2026, we should hit 250,000 toys collected for Bay County kids right here in our backyard. I mean, the crazy thing is all the toys we've collected have not left the city.
Wow.
And so you're talking about, several Walmarts full of toys.
Yeah.
That have just gone to bless the kids here in our community.
Now, we're right on the heels of Christmas, but I'm sure that you're planning already for 2025 Stuff the Bus. So if there's someone out there listening right now, how do they get a hold of you? How do they become a partner with you or become one of the corporate partners, as you were mentioning? How do they help out the movement that is Stuff the Bus?
There's several ways. Number one, if you see me post something, share it.
Yeah.
That's everybody can do that and everybody can play their part, right? I tell people if you do your little, nobody has to do a lot.
Yeah.
And so my encouragement would be to connect with me on social media. I'm easy to find, Skip Bonder. There's 2 of us. It's the younger one. The other one's my dad, right?
Okay.
So
you're a junior?
I'm a junior.
Me as well.
Yeah. So you can send me a message at Stuff the Bus Toy Drive. You can actually go to stuffthebus.org right now and make a monetary donation. People say all the time, when do you start collecting toys? Yes.
Yes. Yes. That's a perfect answer.
Like
yes.
right now. In fact, I actually just picked up 6 pallets. 3 weeks ago.
Wow.
And so we are already collecting because we collect 10,000 toys in December. Our goal is to collect 10,000 before we get to December. And so this year we're going to need about 20,000 toys to satisfy the needs of all the agencies that we contribute to.
Wow. My goodness, man. And really doing the Lord's work right there, because how many kids, with or without parents, are not able to get the Christmas that some of us were able to experience when we were younger. It's a beautiful thing what you're doing.
Stories after stories about people who drive in, and one most importantly, there was a guy in a convertible Camaro. He was across the street at Walmart when we were in the parking lot of Twisted Suspension. Mm-hmm. And I remember I would heckle people with my microphone. And I said, hey, you in the Camaro, go get me some toys. And he literally did a U-turn on 23rd Street and pulled back across the street after he'd went into Big Lots and filled his convertible with toys.
Wow.
And he said to me, if it wasn't for programs like this when I was a kid, I would have never had hope. Hope was his word, not mine, right? Yeah. And so that instilled in me very, very early on that we're giving toys, but those toys have something attached to them that is far bigger than a Hot Wheel or a Barbie doll or a Lego set.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We've got Jack Patterson, I believe, on the line with us. Jack, you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. What do you got for Skip?
What's up, man?
What's up,
Skip, how you
Jackie?
doing, buddy?
Man, I'm good, brother. I'm still recovering from that amazing show this weekend, man.
Yeah, I was just calling in to let you know about what you do for the Stuff the Bus and stuff. I think that's a great thing, man. I've actually been following it for a long time, being here, knowing that you doing it every year. I hear you every year on there.
Well, Jackie, I appreciate it. Your friendship that I've gained over the last few years has been monumental, and you give me one more person to chase after to do great things in the area, man. And I tell people, I wake up every morning to play Follow the Leader, he being my ultimate leader. But you know what? Following you, Jackie, man, that's a fun ride, brother.
I love that first off, though. Sorry, Jack, to interrupt, but I wake up every morning to play Follow the Leader, and he being the ultimate leader. I don't think I've ever heard that before, but I will. I'll give you credit every time I use it, but I will be using it from now on. What else do you have for us, Jack?
That's basically it. It's calling in and thanking Skip for everything he did for the show this past Saturday. Guardians Legacy had their ring there, the entranceway, the guardrails, and everything else, and donated it to us. And I appreciate everything you did, Skip.
Thanks, Jack.
Absolutely. Hey, Jack, thanks so much for the call. It was a great time at Wrestling Against Cancer. The whole setup, was amazing. But it was the beauty in the locker room, the beauty of all of the different promotions coming together, working together, all for one cause. And then, one of my favorite things were the aprons on the, I guess you would call it the east and the west end of the ring, left and right side of the ring, whatever you want to call it. But having Ryan Holland's face on it and his name on it, I know that meant a lot to him, and just the way that everyone came together for that event was a beautiful vision.
Saturday was special.
Yeah.
Jack puts in a ton of work to put on his Wrestling Against Cancer shows, but there was 6 or 7 promoters in that locker room. 6 or 7 guys that are running their own wrestling all over, the north part of Florida and South Georgia area. And those guys all came together, laid down, promotions, laid down egos, laid down expectations, with just to kind of just humble ourselves and be there to do something for Ryan. And honestly, I've been to a few Wrestling Against Cancer shows. This one this year was absolutely inspiring just to see how all the people came out.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt about that. Coach Old says Skip does a great job. Rutherford does a flag football tournament for Stuff the Bus. So let's start there, or not start there, but let's move there. If someone would like to put on a tournament, any way to raise funds for Stuff the Bus, how could they make that happen? Again, I'm assuming email here, but I'd love to give you the opportunity.
Yeah, so Rutherford High School, they have actually been a supporter of Stuff the Bus since year 2.
Wow.
And we do a school competition every year, a little friendly competition to see what school can raise the most toys, and about 25 to 30% of all of our toys collected come from schools. And last year, Bay High won the title. This year, the title is moving back to an elementary school and going over to Highland Park Elementary School.
Really?
And they killed it this year once again. In fact, Miss Ilea, they've had the trophy several years. Rutherford does a flag football tournament called a Turkey Bowl every year. And all of the money that's raised, they actually go and shop and bring toys to Stuff the Bus. And Rutherford has actually won our trophy a couple years, actually. We've sent that trophy over to Rutherford High School. And so we have, we tell people, do what feels good for you and what can be creative for your organization. I know Arnold's band in years past has done where each of the instrument types have done a collection to see who would win, right? And so then they, like the woodwinds versus the stringed instruments versus percussion, right? And that's always been a huge draw. We had Lynn Haven Elementary really represent this year, and so we're actually going there on the 28th to do kind of a celebration because we're going to go celebrate the class because they did a class competition. And so finding what works best for the smaller organizations, we've had certain groups that like within their organization, like corporations and businesses, do things between departments. However you want to do it, I'm here and available. I make myself available all year long for people who say, hey, I've got an idea. And I'm like, well, great. Can I bring food? And let's cook and let's have fun and let's make it a party and let's collect toys for kids.
And I love it too, because not only are these kids donating and helping do something for other kids, even if they're not aware of what it is that they're doing, but you're making donating fun for the kids. And then so that's something that will, it may not even register till age 23, 24 for some guys, not till 27. But when it does one day, oh my goodness, I should be helping other people out.
If we can develop a culture of giving in our youth, we can actually see a time in our culture where we can eradicate need.
Yeah.
But until we cultivate that culture of giving and community, and we lose sight of that. And the more that the world says, focus on you, focus on you, focus on you, maybe we're just a local catalyst for here in Bay County for people to kind of look past themselves to say, hey, in the Christmas season, what can I do to help someone else? And I tell people, most people give. Very few people give till they feel it.
Yeah.
Maybe if we gave till we felt it. And then those that want the ultimate challenge, give until it hurts.
Yo.
And
you said something there, brother.
And watch what happens. Mm-hmm. The scriptures have always held true. You cannot outgive the Creator.
Right.
No matter how hard you try. As long as you're giving with the right heart, and God will be there, 100% to back you up.
This is amazing. So glad that we had Skip Bonder come on with us this afternoon, and we'll definitely get to Guardians Legacy here in a minute. What are some of the other organizations? I know when we talked over there at Wrestling Against Cancer, you were kind of going down the list, and I'm like, whoa, here, I need to write this stuff down. But what are some of the other organizations that you work with?
So, interestingly enough, I am lousy about titles. You and I were talking about that earlier. Most people in this community have no clue what the name of my organization is, and I love that.
Yeah.
It's the whole right hand, left hand. And when we go and serve people in the community and people say, hey, who do we thank for this? And who do we do for this? Our token response now is those guys. Just thank those guys.
Yeah.
Because typically when we go somewhere, there are many people involved, many corporations involved, many churches involved, many civic groups involved. But we just show up with one heart, and that heart is to serve people and to find a way to connect them with joy, peace, hope, and love.
Yeah.
And in doing that, does it really matter what the name of my box is?
Right.
And so we are officially those guys. And but we work with, many local schools here. I get calls from principals all the time with just weird and strange requests to say, hey, I had this idea. How can I help my kids do this? And so we're a talker to different groups, and we try to figure out how to make things work and put people with other people so that we can, again, wouldn't it be beautiful if there wasn't a need in our community?
It's almost like networking without the social media, even though the social media aspect is used, but it's like looking at the algorithm from a real life point of view,
For sure.
No doubt. Obviously, it shouldn't be a surprise to anyone as the way that this conversation has went, but your faith in Jesus Christ is a big deal for you. Give us your testimony, if you don't mind, here on the air.
Man, I was raised the normal church kid.
Yeah.
My mom drugged me to church, and I felt like I probably knew enough about God and felt close enough to Christ that I was good.
Yeah.
And I lived like a fool. You know what I'm saying?
No, I know.
I lived like a fool
I
because
know exactly.
I was told that the blood of Jesus was sufficient, and it is. That the grace of God is greater than anything that I could possibly do to shame him or make. It is.
Yeah.
But the reality is it's a check I should never take to the bank.
Yeah.
And so I lived my life that way, and growing up, and I actually kind of in 2005, I said, man, I'm tired of running, and I think it's time I surrendered. I went to Bible college, and I spent a couple years in Bible college, and I came out, took a job with a ministry, and my life absolutely fell apart. Like, you couldn't imagine. Finally I surrendered my life, and I'm like, God, I'm tired of being lukewarm. I'm tired of being all the things, the trivial Christian, all the things. And I gave it all to God. And when I did that, I made the enemy mad.
Yeah.
Because I had played around with him just enough that he was content.
Yeah.
And when I finally kicked him out, literally, it was like my life just crumbled. And there was my opportunity to go back to my old ways, or to just push in a little deeper. And so I pushed in a little deeper. And I'll tell you, I went from an absolute valley to the mountaintop.
Yeah.
And fast forward a couple years later, my wife and I had been married a little over a year. We quit our full-time jobs. We hopped in our school bus with my 17-month-old son with 30 days of provision. And we said, we're just going to seek after you, God. And so fast forward, 13 years later, we have 5 kids. My 17-month-old is almost 14 years old now. And we probably still have about 30 days provision. And but you know what? Paul said it didn't matter if I had a lot or a little.
Yeah.
I'm good. And so we're good.
Man, that is great stuff, and just love seeing the smile on your face when you're talking about this, and the authenticity, because I think that's what gets lost on a lot of people these days. I don't want to. Let me not say that. I just appreciate the authenticity and you being genuine, and the way that you help people out, because people need it, man. Especially, we get so lost in the fact that it's 2025 and a lot of us have everything that we could imagine, and that's just not the case. And there's missionaries to other countries, sure, but you can be a missionary in your own backyard all the time. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. More from Skip Bonder when we return.
ESPN Northwest Florida is taking it to the hole. Your home for the most live college basketball on the Gulf Coast. The ACC, SEC, and the biggest games in the country. Plus the official station of March Madness.
The Panhandle's destination for live play-by-play.
Hear every slam dunk in ultra-high fidelity right here.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Friday. The remainder of the day, mostly clouds and 65 with a gentle breeze at 10 miles per hour out of the east. Tonight, mostly clouds with lows around 59. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy throughout the day with a low chance of sprinkles in the evening and a temperature near 73. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Experience a higher level of service. David Adamson Designer Jewelry has been providing you the very best of fine jewelry and repair in Lynn Haven for over 32 years. David has added Amber Anderson and Russ Klinger, names you've known and trusted in PCB for years with your fine jewelry and watch needs. Find that one-of-a-kind engagement ring, that special anniversary gift, or something colorful just for you. Amber and Russ will find it or build it for you. Serving Bay County and beyond in Lynn Haven at the corner of Ohio Avenue and 9th. David Adamson Designer Jewelry.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Hometown Sports Talk from hometown hosts.
People are loving it.
We're live and local. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs.
Are you kidding me?
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
You're back. It's the Afternoon Underdogs here on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. I'm David Hayes along with James Fife, and we've got a great guest in the building with us, Skip Bonder, and he is with Stuff the Bus. He's those guys. So y'all help out Stuff the Bus, and then also we're going to be talking some Guardians legacy here, but I want to remind you guys the Women's Civic Club of PCB is going to be presenting Spring Fling, which is a juried arts and crafts show, Saturday, March 8th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Frank Brown Park Recreation Center. Cafe is going to be open throughout the show hours. Donation is only $1 for adults. For vendor information and application, go to the website www.wccpcb.org, and your questions can be emailed to Women's Civic Club at AOL.com. All right, Skip, how did you fall in love with wrestling?
So, crazy thing. I was the kid. I guess I shouldn't be upset with my kids as I think about it, because my kids are late night kids.
Yeah.
But I was a late night kid.
That's how I was, yeah.
My dad used to joke that he'd come up in the middle of the night and I'd be watching David Letterman, and I don't know why as a kid I was just up late. Mm-hmm. And I was up late and I'd watch wrestling. And I was never, you wouldn't call me as like the diehard or the avid fan, and talking to some of the guys in the locker room right now, being around the guys that I'm around, like their knowledge of pro wrestling is like an encyclopedia.
Yeah.
And mine's like a cliff note.
Yeah.
Right.
They'll be like, this WrestleMania or this, WCW Nitro from this.
Yes.
I'm like, whoa,
it is unbelievable. And I actually ran into a guy. I was out in Las Vegas at a convention and was looking at some products actually for the Guardians Legacy. And I ran into a guy who the night before had spent 2 hours watching the 2012 Rumble. And I'm like, you searched out the 2000? He's like, oh yeah, I love it, know? And so my fandom was a little, I would say, weak, to be completely honest, right? And what I fell in love with when it came to wrestling was the nature of the wrestlers and the amount of power that these guys and gals they possess to take someone on a story. To move them along a plot twists all the way through, right? And to tell this story and to do a valiant job in telling this story, right? But what really hooked my heart for pro wrestling and independent pro wrestling specifically was the fan. My
favorite part.
I tell people, the most honest group of people in the world are pro wrestling fans. And, I might pass a friend of mine and I might be like, hey, what's up, man? How are you doing? You're like, oh, good. How's the wife? Good. How are the kids? Good. And then we just pass, right?
Right.
And we go about our lives. If you truly take a moment to ask a pro wrestling fan, how's your day? Pack a lunch. Yeah. Be ready. Yeah. And I love it because I encounter enough fake people in my life that to have people who are just honest.
Yeah.
is so refreshing. And that is the fountain I want to drink at. And that is where I want to be. And that's where I don't want to be, as Guardians Legacy is what it is, I don't want ever the promotion to seem bigger than the fans, because our promotion literally is the locker room plus the fans equal the Guardians Legacy. And if our focus is in the locker room and providing hope, love, peace, and joy in the locker room and connecting with our fans to help them connect with the creator of all things and hope, joy, peace, and love, then ultimately as an organization, we win.
Yeah.
And that's my hope. And honestly, the wrestlers, man, I love all of them. I've made friendships along the way that are those lifelong types of friendships, and those people are cool. But I'll tell you, the fans, the honest wrestling loving fans, just rock my world. And I love to be able to just share time on the rail, share time in the foyer area, or just out on the floor, finding out about how life is and finding out about the hurdles and the struggles that they're having to maybe encourage them in the moment, and spend time in prayer. And I mean, like I told a guy the other day, in 12 years of doing full-time ministry in Bay County, I've actually been able to have face-to-face encounters, genuine God encounters, more so in the last 18 months with the Guardians Legacy than I have in 12 years combined doing anything else in this community.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's special for you, but it's also special for the people who you're meeting. The encounters that you're having, that's huge for them, especially to be able, how many times a day do they have an encounter with someone and it's just that passing by conversation, and then when someone actually takes the time to open up their ears and open up their heart and listen to them, how that can change not just their day, but their day moving forward, and then how their interactions with someone else can help that domino effect of how we treat people.
Yeah, so like on show days for us, what happens from 7 o'clock until 10 o'clock is secondary.
Right.
To what happens when wrestlers start arriving that day, all the way through to when the fans start coming in at 6 o'clock, because those are the encounters that matter most to us. And I truly believe it's because of those encounters that we have that the fans truly get to enjoy more the show, because maybe, having those encouraging conversations with people allow them to have a little bit of confidence to forget about some of those worries and really be distracted by one of the greatest form of athletic entertainment in the world today.
It really is. It really is. And that'll lead us into Guardians Legacy. They've got a big event coming up March 1st, March to Victory, the second installment of that particular one. But I wanted to ask you, since we have enough time here, why did you start? What made you start Guardians Legacy?
So I was helping another promotion here in town. And no shade to those guys. Love those guys. I came to a crossroad where I had to make a decision, because I felt like there were some things that could happen that could ultimately maybe shine a little negatively on what I do at Stuff the Bus and what I do in the community, meeting the needs of kids in the area. And it was nothing against them. It was more so me and just protecting my ability to go places because of my reputation. And so when I put my stamp or my representation on something, I have to be cautious, right? And so I stepped away and immediately had people who were like, hey, why don't you do your own thing? And I was kind of like, no, I can't, I'm going to wait. And if ever there's a time that this other organization is not running, then we'll do something, right? And that time came 3-4 months later. And then we put together our first show in 35 days and had no clue what was going to happen. I think there were probably more people cheering for us to fail than to succeed. Ooh. And 35 days later, we put together a decent show. And 22, 23 public shows, 26 total shows in the last 15 months later. And I would say we're not there yet, but we're trying to get there.
Hey, there you go. The next event, as we said, March 1st, March to Victory 2. And this is going to be at the Legacy Arena, which tell everyone where the Legacy Arena is.
It's at the Rosenwald High School Gym. The Rosenwald High School Gym is gracious enough to allow us to turn it into the Legacy Arena one night a month. And so the first Saturday of the month typically is when we run our shows. In the summer summertime, we actually run a couple shows a month, and we have better access to the gym because school's out.
Right.
And so we run a couple shows. If your fans, your listeners are wanting to follow us, they can actually go to the Guardians Legacy on Facebook. They'll get all the updates. If they follow us now, we are in the midst of some really cool storylines right now.
I was checking those out.
Yeah, we got some really cool stuff brewing right now. So if you jump in, you might be a little behind, but we've got some things. Hopefully, we're going to button some things up. I was dealing with some conversations on the way over here today because there seems to be some people who are making posts on our Facebook account that may be slightly unauthorized. And so we're trying to get to the bottom of that. But it's all going to work out before March to Victory 2. And we're really excited about it, man.
That is going to be a great time again right over there at the Rosenwald Gym, also known as the Legacy Arena for Guardians Legacy. And if you haven't checked out Guardians Legacy, the Guardians Legacy, you need to. Just seeing their ring alone, just seeing the ring and the setup, the entrance, all of that stuff is enough of a reason to go check it out. March 1st is going to be your next opportunity. And right now the page is possibly hacked, right?
So there are some posts that I did not authorize. And there are a few people that have access to the account. We're trying to figure out who may have let some things slip through. And I'm working on it. I'm not stressed by it. I've gotten some text messages on my way into the studio today, people who are really worried about it. I'm trying to let them know it's part of it. It's part of being and doing what we do. And it's all for the love of the opportunity. And one thing I want to let everybody know too, our shows are a little atypical.
Yeah.
We get kind of hazed a little bit by some other promotions because they say we're the kiddie show. And you know what? So be it. We are the show that your kids can come to, and they're not going to hopefully see or do anything that if they repeat it or do it on Monday morning at school, they're going to get in trouble for, right?
There you go.
And so we really, that's one of our fundamentals, is trying to create an escape, not only for adults, but really want to create an escape for the kids. We actually have a sponsor that provides hot dogs for all the kids that come to our show. So bring your kids to the show, and every kid who comes in our door, 17 and under, is going to get 2 free hot dogs from the concession stand.
2 free hot dogs.
2 free hot dogs from the concession stands, courtesy of our friends at A&D Auto Repair. And they have been our sponsor now for about a year, and they have fed every single kid who comes to our show 2 hot dogs for a year now.
How about that? If nothing else, I mean, your kids might fall in love with wrestling, and that would be great for them, but just come for the free hot dogs.
That's right.
Crying out loud.
That's right.
Legacy Arena, also Rosenwald Gym. That's going to be March 1st, March to Victory 2. Go check it out, y'all. If you haven't done so yet, you need to at least give it the opportunity. I promise that it won't be the last time that you go check it out. Skip Bonder in the house with us. You're listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Skip, you also mentioned your ministry.
Yes, sir.
So tell the people a little bit about what it is that you do here, or for your ministry.
Yeah, so we're what people would call a parachurch outreach organization.
Okay.
Right? So we're not a 4 walls brick and mortar, people come on Sunday mornings, right? You can catch the Guardians Legacy on the local CW network.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
From 11 a.m. to noon on Sunday mornings.
Wow,
So,
how about that?
Yeah, but we're not a church, right? Mm-hmm. But we love people. And so what our organization does is we're a meeting the need organization.
Yeah.
If you have kids that need shoes, we get calls. If you have kids that need food, we get called. We'll feed 20,000 kids this year.
Wow.
And probably since COVID, coming out of COVID, that's kind of been our average, is about 20,000 kids a year that we provide meals. And whatever the need is, I'm the yes guy.
Yeah.
Most people know if they call me, I never say no, and we just figure it out. Thank God, God is good, because if our heart is pure and our motives are true, then He's gonna help us get through anything and everything that comes our way, and there's no need too big for Him. And so I trust Him to say yes every time, and so I say yes every time. And so whether that is prizes for prize carts or shoes or food or toys or whatever
it may be,
we figure it out. And so I tell people, don't worry about organizations. My name's Skip. If you need something, give me a call. We'll figure it out.
There you go. And man, March 1st, March to Victory 2. Again, kind of going back to Stuff the Bus, the best way for people to get in touch with you if they'd like to help you out.
Yeah, go to Stuff the Bus Toy Drive. You can send me a message. You can go to my personal Facebook page, Skip Bonder, send me a message. If you're listening right now, and I mean, shameless plug, if you want to help us put on the Guardians Legacy, we could always use some help helping kids and adults connect with, we tell the greatest battle between good and evil.
Yeah.
And, sometimes we have David in the ring against Goliath. And sometimes it might feel like David gets beat up, and then he goes to the curtain and he comes back out to fight again.
Yeah.
And so sometimes we understand that evil prevails in our life, but that doesn't mean that good isn't ready the very next time the bell chimes to come into the ring and bust out a suplex and get the big 1, 2, 3. You know, and so that's the story we tell, and I'm excited to be a storyteller, and I'm excited to share it with Bay County.
Man, that is great stuff. That it's just been a lot of fun having you on with us this afternoon. What are some other sports that you follow? Favorite college football team?
So, you know, college football, I was a huge FSU fan growing up.
Right. And kind of just put them on the back burner after last year.
You know, I kind of realized that, you know, to me, college sports got tainted a little bit. You know, when you saw guys begin to get the nicer cars in the sports dorms, you know, and I'm going all the way back to like Emmett Smith days,
Right.
you know, Warwick Dunn days, all those, you know, when all of the fans would say that their college didn't do it. Right?
Blind to the facts.
right. But we know it was happening. And to me, it kind of tainted the sport a little bit. And so I kind of got disenfranchised and I became an NBA guy.
Okay.
And, you know, I started following, you know, Kobe was my guy. You know,
Right.
Jordan, I was, you know, when I started watching and really following football, Jordan was in his latter years, you know, and Jordan, you know, I hate to say Jordan's a GOAT. Kobe's my GOAT.
Right.
Kobe's my generational GOAT, right?
Mine is Reggie Miller. So, Jordan's my, the GOAT.
Right.
But for me, yeah, Reggie Miller's my favorite player of all time.
For sure. And so for me to be able to connect sports and telling that story. So one of the things that I do is I wear a Kobe jersey most of the time when I'm in the gym and, you know, at the Legacy Arena. And again, it's a talking point for me because what is that mentality that you can always win? Well, that is the same mentality that's instilled in me as it's my faith.
Yeah.
You know, like I may lose a game, I may break my finger and it may be sticking out completely sideways, but I'm still going to make it. Even though I tore my Achilles, I'm going back for that free throw. You know, all of those hurdles that could pop up in sports and in life, and realize that at the end of the day, we've got to just get back in and say, Coach, put me back in. I'm ready.
Yeah, man. Just phenomenal stuff. Thanks so much for stopping by. It will not be the last time. Stuff the Bus, Guardians Legacy. Y'all go check out the Guardians Legacy. It's going to be Saturday, March 1st, March to Victory to over there at the Legacy Arena over there at Rosenwald Gym. Skip, thanks so much for stopping by, and we'll look forward to working with you more in the future.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely. All right, we'll be right back. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs, listening to ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida. It's the Coach James Hale Show.
Oh, don't get me started on They built the pyramids of Egypt in less time. They built the Golden Gate Bridge in less. What?
This is my segment. Okay.
This is great.
Guys, I'm talking the Panama Canal, which connects the two oceans.
Weekday morning 7 to 9. ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Friday. The remainder of the day, mostly clouds and 65 with a gentle breeze at 10 miles per hour out of the east. Tonight, mostly clouds with lows around 59. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy throughout the day with a low chance of sprinkles in the evening and a temperature near 73. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for keeping that dial on ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Are you tired of hearing 2 weeks when you call to get your boat worked on? Hey folks, it's Chris Kramer with Kramer Marine and Outdoor, and we'll get you in and back out on the water as quick as possible. We're a full-line Yamaha outboard dealer and Suzuki outboard dealer, and we have master-trained certified mechanics on site. So if it's just an annual service, electronics install, trolling motor install, or all the way up to a full repower, we can take care of you. So stop by and see us in the corner of Frankfurt and 23rd next to Bill Kramer GM, or call us at 850-851-0453.
WVLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn Haven. Powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
ESPN Northwest Florida is thrilled to introduce the newest members of the Panama City Beach Chamber to our vibrant business community.
Welcome to the Beach Chamber. Aldi Incorporated, 23rd Street, Beach House Florist, COHO Construction Management, Covey Homes Grand Lagoon, and Florida Blue.
We're here to support your success and help you connect with our community.
Congratulations from ESPN Northwest Florida.
And the Panama City Beach Chamber of Commerce, reaching Bay County and beyond.
Doing what other stations can't. The Afternoon Underdogs is live and local. 855 750-215-6290.
When you've completed dialing, listen for the ringing signal.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
That was a awesome segment as you are now riding or back in the doghouse with the Afternoon Underdogs. David Hayes, James Fife, ESPN Northwest Florida 104.3 Panama City, 101.9 in Port St. Joe. It just got a little bit more backstory from Skip, learning about just some of the things that him and his family have went through, and just powerful stuff. Always enjoy learning about people from our community and how they help other people. Those are my favorite people in our community because we learned it, here firsthand with Hurricane Michael, and then some of the tornadoes that we've went through and some of the other things that we've went through. The people of this community always come together. Don't forget that we are your home for Auburn Tiger basketball, ESPN Northwest Florida. And tomorrow we've got a big game between number 1 and number 2, Alabama and Auburn. Alabama being number 2, Auburn being number 1. Coverage starting 2:30 for a 3 p.m. tip. We've got Eddie on the line with us. Eddie, you're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. I'm got to be assuming here, but this has got to be Michigan Eddie, right?
This is the first time you ever called me Eddie.
Well, I'm just...
We're going to tell you back at 10. There's no other Eddie I think that calls the show. It's always Michigan Eddie.
I know, but I was just reading the name off the whiteboard, and then once I was like, wait, what am I thinking? This has got to be Michigan Eddie.
Yes, it is. I got some rants.
Go ahead.
One of my rants is from the other day about MCDC getting screwed with the Coach of the Year. Dude, there's no way. We dominated the Vikings twice in the regular season, won the division, had a better overall record. How does MCDC not get the Coach of the Year? That is bullcrap. Detroit not getting no respect. MCDC is the Coach of the Year. He should get a Lifetime Achievement Award from the NFL for what he's done with the Lions. And people want to come to Detroit versus wanting to get out of Detroit. And even Amon-Ra St. Brown said, as long as we got Dan, we're good. And we're good. Shame on the media. Shame on the NFL for that travesty. It was rigged, conspiracy. I don't care. But Kevin O'Connell, hey, Minnesota, great year. And all that, but they had a veteran quarterback, whereas our defense was basically in Henry Ford ZR back in Detroit, where my mom used to work, by the way. Mm-hmm. So, hey, what he did with that team is I think the Lord had his hand in that, man, because the way they overcame all those, serious injuries. I'm not talking about second, third stringers. I'm talking about our stars, Aiden Hutchinson, blah, blah, blah. Go on down the line. I got number 2, Tigers. Tarek and Jack back, brother. Watch out for the Tigers and the X. Go to Boston, baby.
Oh, I forgot
that. Go there with that screwed up city. You know what? Because you know what? The Tigers are back, and they're going to win it, and they're going to make the playoffs. And don't be surprised if they win the World Series this year, because we are hungry. We know what it tastes like, and all that. We're going to go farther than we did last year, bro.
I did forget about the Tigers.
Detroit sports is back, baby. Look at the Pistons, bro. Look at the Wings. Detroit's the best sports city in the country. Forget about Philly, Boston, Chicago, New York, LA. You can have all those shyster of a cities. Detroit is where it's at, bro. Detroit Rock City. Can I say something else?
Yeah, man. The floor is yours right now.
NASCAR, get your act together. How you can have Michigan board Eric Jones go yesterday to try to pick up a checker when you should pull everyone on pit lane until you sorted it out. That was unfair to him. It was embarrassing for the sport. If that's a prelude to how this season is going to go, NASCAR, you're a mess. And how does MIS only have one race? We don't want to go to Mexico, bro. Who cares about the Chicago road course? No one cares, man. What's the bread and butter of NASCAR? The top 3, Detroit, Michigan. And you ask anybody besides Daytona where they want to win the most, it's MIS, because that's the backyard where those engines are created, where those motors are created, bro. And here's another thing, too. Austin Cindric, shame on you. You're a professional driver, and you don't know the rules of the game. Watch that interview last night after that duel. He didn't know he won and didn't really knew why he won. Because as everyone knows, even the most moronic person knows, that once the caution line's thrown in that lap, who's ever in the lead gets the checker. Everybody knows that. How do you not know that? Am I right?
You're spot on about most of what you're.
100 of these professional ball players and NASCAR drivers are that stupid where they don't even know the own rules of their sport and they get paid millions of dollars.
Well,
I'm back, man. I'm going to back to work in a couple weeks. I'm gearing up slowly but surely, but I'm ramping up.
What you're saying?
Okay, I got another thing.
All right.
6-1, United States.
Oh, how about that?
Canada? Keep booing us, Canada. You're going to become the 51st state. Greenland might be the 52nd. I don't care, but we're going to whoop that keister anyway. The Kachuk brothers on you got Dylan Larkin. You got Matthews. We're going to beat you in Quebec, bro. Want to be France? Go ahead, bro, at the Bell Center. And Montreal, Quebec, I think is where it's being played at. We're going to beat you.
Yeah, that's where it's at.
No worries there. No worries.
Yeah, I think weren't a lot of the boos, though, focused more towards Austin Matthews because he's a Toronto Maple Leaf?
I thought it was because they booed the Red Wings when they were in Canada earlier in this week about the tariffs and all that.
Oh, yeah. No, there was that.
They were booing that, and Trudeau's a moron, and basically Trump called him Governor Trudeau today. He's resigning too. But, you got to, dude, you don't need to boo our anthem. It's not the athletes. Separate politics from sports, bro. That's why, you know what I mean? Anyway.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you on that. That's what we try to pride ourselves here on the Afternoon Underdogs.
Boo all you want. We're just gonna whoop you. Just like the Pistons just killed Chicago 2 in a row, bro. 2 in a row. Kate Cunningham, Arthur Thompson, let's go, Malik Beasley, on and on, bro. And he better be in the 3-point conversation in the 3-point tournament or whatever, 3-point contest.
Yeah,
that guy's unreal. Bickerstaff, bro. Detroit bad boy, version 3 or whatever, man. We're back. Detroit's the best sports city.
So I'm actually gonna have.
I got one more thing.
Okay.
Can I say one more thing?
You take this whole segment. Do what you got to do. We're going to RJ Starcevic next, live from Daytona.
Yeah, you talked to him about NASCAR as crazy as a bowl of Fruit Loops with the shenanigans they pulled yesterday. That was embarrassing. That's terrible. And MIS deserves another race. And IndyCar needs to go back to MIS. I don't care about the Belle Isle, the downtown circuit, whatever. It needs to go back to MIS. Just saying. Anyway, Michigan basketball. We're back, baby. Beat Purdue. We're top of the Big Ten and all that, man. I just hope we can keep Dusty May because I know IU's coach is leaving and he's a IU grad. Just hope we can keep him. But Michigan basketball and hockey. Hey, we beat, I think, top rank. I think Michigan State's number 2 or top 5 or whatever. We beat them, split a home. Terrible. That's why. What do you call? I'm not even going to that joke. It's not worth my time. Michigan State's not worth my time. It's not worth the airtime. Anyway, just saying. So.
Ronald Reagan says that he believes most of those motors, you were talking about Detroit, Michigan being the backyard for where they make the motors. He says most of those are made in North Carolina, not Michigan.
That is true. They're built in the shops and modified at the shops, but they're developed and all that in the Detroit Motor City. Do your homework, guy.
Hey, he said he believes. He didn't say that you were wrong. He just says he believes that. So, we're just having a healthy debate, true. Michigan Eddie.
That is true. They take them to their shop, they modify them and all that, but they're developed, and basically the stock and the base of them, are majority made in Detroit, where all the engineering, all the research, all the R&D, if you will, is in Detroit and all that. Then they do take them down to Charlotte, what have you, and build on them more. Yes, that. I guess we're both right.
So you're really heated about the fact that they're racing in Mexico and then the Chicago course, and that they're not going to be at MIS for 2 races this year.
I take that statement back. Actually, I love Daniel Suarez. My wife's Hispanic. I got a lot of family from Mexico, so I'm not mad that they're going to Mexico.
No, it's just the fact that they're removing. Like, there's other races that you believe are on the circuit that they could have removed that so that Michigan could have had 2 races.
Yeah, Michigan deserves 2 races. Does anyone care if Iowa has a race? Come on, man.
I didn't even know that they were at Iowa.
I think they're at Iowa this year for the first time. Or Kansas. Come on. Here's the thing. Now, if they were to take a race at MIS and go back to the Rockingham, I get it. That's a blue blood course from back in the day. You know what I mean? Kind of like how North Wilkesboro is back. They raced there last year and this year. Totally understand that. Because the South is where South is where NASCAR was built. Like, they had a thing on American Pickers about Junior Johnson's son or something.
Yeah.
They were picking and seeing the races and all that. I mean, moonshine. I mean, that's where it's from. I get that. But, man, Chicago road course? Who cares, man?
And the weather always seems to jack that race up.
Yeah, because you got the weather off Lake Michigan. It's windy, rainy, and all that. You know, I mean, downtown's beautiful. Except for outside of downtown, Chicago's, all you got to do is read about the news. You see what's going on there. But anyway, I mean, you got the Chicago Super Speedway in Joliet, Jake Blues Brothers, baby. I'm just saying, you got Chicago Speedway. You don't need two. No one cares about that road course except for SVG, Shane Verstappen, whatever his name is. No one else cares about that race. Come on. And St. Louis? Dude, St. Louis, I mean, granted, it's a good Infinity track. I'm just saying, man. No, and I take that back Valderrama, I think, is the course in Mexico, right? I mean, that's a great course. It's a historic course and all that. And so I take that back. I was on a rant, blah, blah, blah. So I'm gonna taper that back. My bad, audience. I am the people's caller. I love Suarez. Man. He's one of my guys. Him, Allgaier in the 40, making it in the show. Sorry for Dale Jr. I was actually at Dale Jr.'s race when he won Daytona night race in July, back when it was a rain delay and all that.
Yeah.
In the 8th, that was awesome. So, BK, Michigan boy, Eric Jones, those are my guys, and plus Penske, because they're Detroit-based, you know, and then Roush, Fenway, you know, because Detroit-based with Jack Roush and all that. But both for them. But another thing about NASCAR. Talks up. Did you hear kind of like the animosity between Clint Boyer and Kevin Harvick yesterday?
No, I did not.
In the telecast? It kind of seemed like they were kind of going back and forth, kind of arguing, but not arguing each other with the points they're making. And I love Mike Joy too, but he kind of was saying some stuff that was kind of whacked out in his commentary. It's kind of like, you know what people say about Al Michaels during the Amazon Prime telecast on NFL?
Yeah.
Well, that's what people were kind of saying about how Mike Joy's coming along.
Almost like he's lost the care for it.
Yeah, it seems like those three maybe need to go to spring training for broadcasting. You know what I'm saying? Before they hit the duels and the big race on Sunday.
Yeah.
I mean, I love those three, though. Clint Boyer, he's a character. Kevin Harvick's one of my favorites because he took over Dale's car. Been following him forever.
Maybe they're trying to bring a different feel to NASCAR commentary where there's going to be more arguing. It's going to be kind of like live sports radio with commentary for the races going on.
Yeah, I mean, it just didn't feel right, though. Like it was arguing and disagreeing. Difference.
Yeah.
Kind of like how Darryl, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Darryl and them would agree to disagree with Larry Mack and all that, you know? I mean, I tell you, they need to bring Darryl back, bro. Boogity, bro. That's what they need to bring back, I think. Get him out of retirement, whatever you need to do, you know?
You said it was Clint Boyer and who arguing? Trying to look it up.
Kevin they weren't arguing per se. They weren't arguing like yelling at each other, but you could tell they were kind of bickering back and forth, like not agreeing with each other when I was watching it last night. It just didn't seem like cohesive. Like last year they were great. This year it seemed like they were kind of like bickering a lot more. Maybe Kevin's getting more settled in. It's his second year in the booth now, so he's, you know what I mean? He's not the new guy anymore per se. He's not a rook. So now he thinks, you know, he can, you know, I don't know. That's my opinion. I could be crazy. People have called me crazy before. Crazy Michigan Eddie. You know what it is.
Well, I'll tell you what, though. It is good to have you back on the airwaves here on the Afternoon Underdogs, giving us some of those rants, man. And glad to hear that you're feeling a little bit better, my man.
Yeah, all right. Hey, nice seeing you. Hey, go Blue, go Detroit Rock City, bro. Hey, big sports weekend. You got the race, you got the NBA, then you got the Four Nations Cup, and you got college basketball. Who can beat it? And then you got college baseball and softball heating up.
Yeah,
so it's
man.
all good, man.
I'm excited about it. I'm really excited about the Four Nations between Canada and America, and then the Daytona 500 as well. It's gonna be a great weekend, and then also Alabama and Auburn. You can listen to that game right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Cover starting at 2:30 for a 3 p.m. tip. Michigan Eddie, you take care, my friend. You can hit us for that sign off one more time.
Go Blue Truck Series, bring up 20 And by the way, Canada, you're going to get your blessed assurance kicked out tomorrow night. Go USA, red, white, and blue, baby. I'm out. See ya.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Michigan Eddie with a 15-minute rant right here on the air. James, is that your first time that you've had the privilege of listening to a Michigan Eddie rant?
I've been here for Eddies. Okay. I've been here for other Eddies.
That was a good one, though. That was a good one. USA, Canada, Saturday, 7 p.m. They got the win 6-1 last night against the Finns, against the Finnish. Canada beat Sweden 4-3 in overtime on night one. Lots of excitement just in the third period. Well, it was 2-1 going into the third period. USA scored late in the second period, and then they just hit them with a barrage of goals.
First 3 minutes of that third period just took it over.
For the first 30 seconds, because they scored within 11 seconds of that first goal.
30, and then at the 3-minute mark.
Yeah, a great pass from... And then they scored late. I think it was Matt Tkachuk scoring the final goal of the game to make it 6-1. But and I think the Finland's already set their goalie for the next game. But after you give up 6 goals, I think that's a possibility of what's on the horizon for you. Right?
I mean, as a Preds fan, watching Juice from this season, man, he looked just like he did for the Preds. He's not carrying the team like he did other previous seasons, like his goals against average or on average or whatever, the Corsi term is. Yeah, well, not the GAA, but like the GAA plus, where it basically determines how many saves you've made over goals against.
Gotcha.
He was like a +7 last year, and he's like a -1 this year. So it's just like a massive drop off. And the Finns are thin on the defensive end. They got a lot of good offensive defensemen, but they're not really a defensive type of team. So
that's what they were talking about.
Either.
That's what they were. Sorry to interrupt you, but that's what they were talking about on the broadcast last night. Is they're a team that if it's a low scoring game, they're fine, but once they start getting blown out, it's tough. They're not built to come back like that.
Yeah, once that they were down by even 2.
Yeah,
that late in the game, it was like, ooh, not a great sign for them, because they're a team that waits to pounce. They wait for the other guys to make the mistake and try to capitalize on that mistake. And if you actually watch the second period of that game, it was a lot of actually both the U.S. and the Finns kind of still feeling each other out, which is kind of weird. Usually on a game like that where it's international, it takes a little longer than the first 5 minutes of what I'm used to watching in an NHL game, because you see those guys more often. And it was even into the second period, there was a whole lot of just I call it ping pong hockey, where you're just kind of going back and forth in the neutral zone, just not doing anything too hard.
Not
just
showing
trying
your
to
full hand.
Trying to feel out the other guy and make him make a mistake first.
Well, we got USA and Canada Saturday evening. What do you think? How does Team USA match up against Team Canada?
It's a close game. It's going to be a close game. I think the U.S. has better goaltending. I think the U.S. has better defensemen, although I do think the Canadian team has the better top 6 guys on the forwards. So they're definite top 2 lines on scoring, a lot better than our top 2 lines in scoring. So as long as our defense can kind of keep them back for a little bit, keep it at a 0-0 game going into the second, I'll feel a lot better than if we're down a 1-0 going into the second. And right now, ESPN has both teams at -110. So
it's
either way,
flip a coin.
Yep.
Flip a coin, Jake Gensel was able to get in on the action for USA as well last night. I think one of my favorite goals of the evening, Eichel passing it in to Brady Tkachuk. Brady and Matt Tkachuk last night scored 2 goals apiece. Gensel got 1, and I can't remember who got the other goal, but it was that pass from Eichel to Brady Tkachuk, and he just kind of moves to the forehand, back to the backhand, and slides it not necessarily in the 5-hole, but just right underneath that right pad of the goalie, or actually the left pad of the goalie. But man, there's something about, I love NHL hockey, but there's something about international hockey and the way that countries playing against other countries and the respect that these players have for one another as well. It seemed like there was a couple of points last night where maybe they dropped the gloves, which you don't see that a lot in international hockey, do you, James?
International hockey, it is a big no-no in the IHF, because you are kicked out. You get your 5 minute for fighting. You get the 10-minute game misconduct, so say later, not coming back for this game, and you're suspended for the next game.
And in a tournament like this, so U.S. has already played 1 game, they've got the game against Canada, then they'll play Sweden, and then the two teams that are on top after those 3 round-robin games are played will play for the championship.
That is correct.
Yep, so there's no time for fighting in that. You guys are riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. We're going to take some left turns, getting you guys ready for Daytona 500. with RJ Starcevic. He is live from Daytona International Speedway. And the first question we're going to ask him is, should Michigan International Speedway have 2 races? Because one of our greatest callers, the People's Caller, thinks they should. We'll find out more on that and a great preview for Daytona 500 when we get back to riding with the Afternoon Underdogs on ESPN Northwest Florida.
It's the ESPN Northwest Florida Hall & Hearts Magic Express.
Hey, Sean, are you sitting down?
Yeah.
Well, stand up because you won the Hall & Hearts Magic Express to see the Magic play in Orlando, bro.
Oh, my goodness. I'm being honest. I didn't think I'd win.
You did it, man. You're going to ride on a busload of sports fanatics to Orlando on the ultimate road trip.
Yeah, I'm in shock right now.
Sponsored by PCB Hobby, Panama City Toyota, Hall & Hearts, and Fairfield Hampton Inn on Thomas, and Home 2 Suites.
We're hooking you up with a pair of tickets to the luxury suite, overnight accommodations, food at the game, and a free ride on the Magic Express.
Awesome.
Who are you going to take with you?
I have no idea. I got to figure that out. Like I said, now I'm like, man.
Congratulations from ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Friday's weather. Tonight there will be a gentle breeze out of the east, mostly clouds and 59. Clouds tomorrow morning, about the same at 71. In the afternoon and evening, partly cloudy and a moderate breeze right around 13 miles per hour with a high of 73. About the same at 70 Sunday, and we'll have a likelihood of thunderstorms in the morning, but otherwise some sun. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Discover Kia at Bill Bird Kia during the President's Day sale going on all month long. Are you looking for a fuel-efficient SUV that doesn't compromise on style, comfort, and performance? Stop in today at Bill Bird Kia and let our team put you behind the wheel of your new Kia. Bill Bird Kia is now offering 1.9% APR for up to 60 months on the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sorento. Bill Bird Kia is the home of that 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us today at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. We'll treat you like family and give you the peace of mind you can trust.
Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sorento with $1,748 per month per $1,000 financed in 60 months. Qualities limited, cannot be combined with other finance offers. Not available on balloon financing. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete detail. Offer for well-qualified buyers. Must take delivery from dealer stock through 3/3/25.
America's team plays here.
And a rocket to right field. This thing is into orbit.
The Atlanta Braves on ESPN Northwest Florida. Acuna, Ozzie, and Austin Riley lead the Braves' high-powered offense.
Swung on, belted, deep right field. Get out of here, Ozzie. Home run. Ball game.
The Atlanta Braves on ESPN Northwest Florida is sponsored by Brock's Pest Control. Store more portable buildings, reliable hydraulic solutions. Bill Bird Kia and Mid-South Lumber. Come on vacation.
Summer vacation. Hey, how's your vacation going?
Leave on probation.
Sheriff's deputies in Panama City Beach arresting 161 people during an out-of-control spring break weekend.
Welcome to the Emerald Coast. Have a great time at the beautiful beaches, but not like end up in the back of a police cruiser great. A friendly reminder from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Brace yourself and strap in for the ultimate adrenaline rush.
It's showtime.
Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs, ESPN Northwest Florida.
What is going on? You're back at the Doghouse riding along with the Afternoon Underdogs. It's James Fife. I'm David Hayes, and we're just having a good old blast. Appreciate Michigan Eddie calling in and taking care of almost a full segment for us. And now we're going to go over there live from Daytona here in just a few seconds. But first, got to tell you guys about your home for Auburn Tiger basketball, ESPN Northwest Florida. We've got number 1 Auburn, number 2 Alabama, live from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Coverage starting right here, 2:30 for a 3 p.m. tip tomorrow afternoon. Now let's go to Daytona. The Daytona International Speedway is our good buddy RJ Starsvig. He is the host and creator of the Instagram page Motor Stardom, and he's also doing some things here with us at ESPN Northwest Florida. RJ, my man, what's going on?
Man, it's misting out here, guys. Not raining, but it's misting a little bit. But we're looking like we're still going to keep getting some racing in here. But hey, living the dream. It's a good atmosphere.
Hey, there you go. The first question I got to ask you: we just had the People's Caller, Michigan Eddie, call in, and he went through a vast array of different subjects, different topics that he wanted to rant about. One of them was the fact that Michigan International Speedway (MIS) is not going to have 2 races here in 2025. Do you think that MIS is a track that deserves to have 2 races on the calendar?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's so difficult to determine that nowadays because it's like we have so many great racetracks on the schedule, and what people keep trending to do is lessening the schedule. Right? We got 38 sanctioned actual races on the schedule. There's only a limited amount of tracks that we go to a few times. We got Daytona, Talladega, we have Bristol, and Atlanta. So Michigan, I think, we'll end up hopefully maybe making some renovations in the future. I know the track hasn't raced how everybody's wanted it to, and I think that's led to it kind of just getting one date. I mean, we're in Chicago now, and we're in Mexico, and we're all over the place. So do I see it getting 2 dates again? I'm not sure. But I always enjoy the racing at Michigan. They go really, really fast there, man. 200 plus. It's one of the fastest, if not the fastest, racetrack we visit on the schedule. So it's always a great time going up there.
Also, he mentioned something. He was speaking so fast that I really didn't get to catch what he was talking about with Austin Cindric. But can you explain the drama that was surrounding Austin Cindric last night in the duels?
Oh, yeah. So we got the good old we had a photo finish, or at least what we thought was going to be at the second duel last night. Eric Jones and Austin Cindric are side-by-side coming to the line. Eric Jones beats him to the line as the field's crashing behind them. But wait, we find out the caution was thrown right before they crossed the line. And, I have a lot of opinions on that. But
well, let's hear them because let's hear those opinions.
Well, short and sweet. I mean, I think, when you come out of turn 4, I think NASCAR should have a fine line where they don't throw the yellow. I mean, let's be honest, guys. What's the difference between throwing the caution a second before the start-finish line than just not throwing it at all? When they cross the finish line, the race is under caution anyways. We're done. So, and a lot of people share that same opinion as well. In that circumstance, it means Austin Cindric was the winner because he was ahead just a second before the line, before Eric Jones took the lead, even though he was the one that actually made it to the line in time. Austin Cindric was ahead when they threw the caution about a second and a half before they reached the start-finish line, which just to me is just super pointless. They give the reasoning like, oh, well, we felt, the crash was big enough. We needed to stop the racing as soon as we can. And it's like, okay, but let's be honest here, guys. Let's have some realism here. Like one second right before the line, like the field's crashing. Everybody's slowing down anyways. I mean, it's not like we're full throttle into the crashes. Well, I've seen that before. But, I think we just got to use a little more common sense when we're making those calls. And Eric Jones thought he won. He celebrated and everything. They gave him the post-race interview, and he had to be told live on air that he was not the winner of the race after he had celebrated with the flag, standing there in the front stretch. That had to be a gutting feeling. But hey, that's some crazy motivation to go get a W this Sunday, I'd say.
So what ended up happening with him not getting that win? He just didn't. He's not as high in the starting field on the starting grid.
Yeah. So what's really funny about that situation is his starting spot doesn't even change because so when they have qualifying Wednesday night, the top 2 people in single car qualifying are the top 2 starters for the Daytona 500. So Chase Briscoe's on pole. Austin Cindric got that second starting spot. Usually when these guys guarantee their spot first or second, they just drop out of the race. Chase Briscoe went to the garage. There's no need for him to race. He's already starting first. Austin Cindric took the total opposite approach and raced all the way to the end and then was fighting for the win. So even if Eric Jones would have won that race, he would be starting 4th. And because he finished behind Austin Cindric, and Austin Cindric's already starting 2nd, Eric Jones will start 4th. So, he doesn't lose any change in the starting spot for the Daytona 500. But, he does lose that checkered flag, which ultimately I'm sure that's all he really cared about, since the Daytona 500 is so unpredictable.
Absolutely, and that's sensical. But my question is, if you're the crew chief, if you're the owner of the car for Austin Cindric, why even let him back out there? Because what in the world would happen if he wrecks that car and then they have to go to car number 2?
Yeah, I guess the driver won that battle. You know,
Yeah.
we got some drivers in the field that are going to just, I'm going to go to the back. Why would I do it? Just like Chase Briscoe. And you got some drivers who are like, you know what, I want to come out here and make a statement. And you know, even when I don't need to, and he sure did. I mean, Austin Cindric's certainly one of the guys that I, you know, have on my radar to watch. He's been super good at these super speedways. He's been wrecked out of all of them, but from the front. So talking to him a few days ago, he was making those points, as he's always been wrecked out of the lead in these last few super speedway races. So I guess he just wanted to make a statement and see if he could actually keep it clean for once, and hey, he did.
There you go. We're talking with RJ Starcevic. Make sure to go check out his Instagram page, Motor Stardom. He does a great job covering the sport of NASCAR, not just the Cup Series. He also covers Xfinity. Also, I mean, I've seen stuff about the Craftsman Truck Series. Really, anything that has to do with 4 wheels. It could probably be 2 wheels, but 4 wheels and a track and a checkered flag. RJ's on top of it. RJ, they're going to be moving the time up for the Daytona 500. So what time? That's going to be 12:30 Central, 1:30 Eastern?
Yes, sir. Yeah, so that's officially when, you know, the start time for all the ceremonies and things like that. The green flag will officially drop at 2 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, 1 o'clock Central. So everything moved up an hour with the threat of rain. Hopefully don't get washed up on Sunday, but it's going to be a big day. I am going to have to be here probably at sunrise because there's a lot of extra security measures being taken. We got the president in town. We got Mr. 305 Worldwide is coming to do the pre-race concert, but you know, he was here last year. But really, with the president being here, they are going to go crazy with the security measures, and it's going to, you know, traffic security measures. It's going to take a long time, so I'll kick back. I'll have some eggs and bacon and watch the sunrise here at Daytona Sunday morning.
There you go, man. It is a beautiful place to be. Just walking around the infield, you can see some things that you never thought you'd see before. Pitbull, you brought up Mr. 305. What do you think about him and his partnership with Trackhouse kind of ending?
Yeah, big deal there. Big bombshell coming out this morning that Pitbull is ending his partnership with Trackhouse effective immediately. These were rumors that came out about a few months ago, over a few months ago, digging all the way into the end of last season. They were kind of debunked, and now we get to the beginning of this season where he ends his partnership. Now, from what it seems on social media and statements and things like that, it seems like it was mutual. It seems like it was nice. We all know that there can always be things that happen behind the scenes. And I think, you know, people will get to talk to Justin Marks and the drivers this week, but we'll also get to talk to Pitbull. It kind of interesting. It works itself out like this. Pitbull's coming here on Sunday to perform the pre-race concert. And because he's doing that, he will have a media presser on Sunday. So we will get to ask Pitbull, and we will get the answers, or at least the answers he opts to give us on what happened. But certainly interesting there. I mean, he came on when they started, helped them grow a ton, and now it seems like both of them are moving on to different things.
Now, RJ, I don't know if you want to tell us this or not, so you can plead the fifth if you'd like to. What were you doing right before you hopped on the air with the Afternoon Underdogs here on ESPN Northwest Florida?
Boy, I was having some fun up on the fan deck here in the fan zone, talking with Stephen Malozzi, Mason Maggio, who's racing in tonight's Truck Series race, as well as Frankie Muniz, who a lot of people, even if you don't watch NASCAR, might recognize that name from the movie business. He's racing tonight, starting pretty high in the order. They got a fast hot rod, does Frankie Muniz. So that was really cool to be up there talking to them, streaming it as well, testing some stuff out. And what a way to do it with Frankie Muniz up there. So that was a lot of fun, and excited for tonight's Truck Night in America, they call it, here Friday night at Daytona. But yeah, what a time it was here in the fan zone.
So he's going to be racing full-time on the Craftsman Truck Series.
He will be, yeah, full-time in the Craftsman Truck Series, and he's going to see what he can make of it.
Hey, there you go. How big is that for the Truck Series, like to bring eyes to maybe a segment that, or to a part of the, you know, the umbrella of NASCAR that maybe doesn't get as much shine as the Xfinity or the Cup Series?
Yeah, I mean, that's huge. I think having a driver like that in the series where, you know, we have a series the Truck Series is full of veterans, and it's full of really, really young guys. And now we get a guy to come in that is going to bring a lot of attention to the sport. A lot of people are going to be watching to see how he does, and obviously so many people know him, outside of the NASCAR world. He's a busy guy, he's a famous guy, and decided he had at least 5 minutes of his time to dedicate to me today. And you know what? I'm blessed for that. So it's going to be awesome to see him racing this year on a full-time basis and dedicating his busy life to NASCAR. But he's always been outspoken on that. His dream has been racing, and I'm glad to see he's getting to live it out here in NASCAR.
Also, you just dropped a Daytona 500 preview article. Where can people go to check out your article?
Well, they can go to the ESPN Panama City website. You can click right there and get it all centered in. I've been figuring out you guys is pretty easy to navigate. It's been fun getting back into the article business. Love being able to put some stuff out for you guys. So if you want to check that out, we're breaking down everything you need to know about the Daytona 500, all the storylines, all the favorites, the underdogs, and boy, do we love the underdogs. And that's the big part about the Daytona 500 weekend is that anybody, 41 drivers, with Helio Castroneves getting in with his provisional, have a chance at winning this Sunday. So thank you guys for that.
Oh, absolutely. We're thankful for it as well. I think it's one of those situations where we've just both kind of scratch each other's backs, and it's also inspirational for me because I'm like, maybe I should start writing like a weekly blog or something and putting it up there on ESPNPC.com so I can keep track with the young but phenomenal RJ Starcevic, who does such a great job. Make sure you go follow his page on Instagram. That is Motor Stardom. All one word, Motor Stardom. All right, so who has been looking fast when you've had your eyes on the track?
Well, we already talked about him. I'll throw him in there. Austin Cindric, he's been looking very, very fast this week. I'm looking forward to see what he will do. Eric Jones, great race pace. Obviously came so close last night to getting it done, but obviously ultimately fell short. I got to look at Ryan Preece was another surprise. He was up there making things happen. This is a brand new ride for him and RFK. And then you got to look at the natural favorites with no matter what happened last night. Denny Hamlin, always going to be a favorite when you come here. He does have a good starting spot, start inside the top 10. Going to be a lot of fun to see how he does as well. And then people, looking for their first Daytona 500 win. I'd put that in the article there as well because we have huge names that haven't won the Daytona 500. We're talking Kyle Busch, talking Brad Keselowski, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney. Those are all former champions of the sport that haven't been able to hoist that Daytona 500 trophy yet. So there's so many big names that can win, and you never know. It could be the guy starting third, and it could be the guy starting 37. That is just the unpredictability and the fun of being here in Daytona Beach.
All right. Let's see. Which manufacturer has the best Daytona 500, you think?
It always seems to be Ford. Ford always seems to be up here at the end of these events. Now, this year, they've always qualified well. Now, this year, Toyota won the pole. Chase Briscoe, Joe Gibbs Racing, Toyota gets their first pole award ever in the Daytona 500. So that is huge for them. But, will they have the race pace? I'm not sure. Usually doesn't pan out. They got more bodies now. They got more Toyotas in the show with Legacy Motor Club being a part of their stable now. But I got to roll with Ford. Ford has yet to prove me wrong that they are the best manufacturer group to work together. Penske is always dialed in. They have RFK. They have the Wood brothers. They still have one car with Haas Factory Team. I think they're going to be the organization to beat for sure.
There you go. All right, let's see what else do we have here. We had our the People's Caller bring up something. Where are the motors manufactured at for NASCAR?
I would assume they're manufactured in Charlotte, North Carolina. I would assume everything is done there. I'm not sure exactly where the motors themselves are manufactured. That's not quite in my brain right now, but I feel like everything's done in Charlotte, North Carolina. That'd be my educated guess.
Hey, there you go. Well, he said that they were, I guess it was we had a comment that said that they were, manufactured in North Carolina, but he had made the comment that they were made in Detroit. But then he kind of said he might be wrong about that and that they are researched and developed. But that just kind of popped to the top of my head. What are some things that you're looking forward to tomorrow, RJ, Saturday at Daytona International Speedway?
Yeah, Saturday is a fun day. We get Cup Series final practice, so they just had practice right before this call, and now they're going to have their final practice to get their tune-ins and get everything ready for tomorrow. And then tomorrow's Xfinity Day. We set the fields for the Xfinity Series in the morning, and then at 5 o'clock we will roll the Xfinity Series off for their first race of the season tomorrow night. Very exciting. So many competitive cars in that field as well. And as you guys know, I love me a good Xfinity Series race and a good Xfinity Series weekend. So Saturday is always fun. A lot of events. People are rolling in, for the Daytona 500. There's a lot of people that don't just come here for one day. They're coming here for the whole weekend, man. The campgrounds are always popping. This fan zone has been popping since yesterday. The people here in Daytona, the people are dedicated, but Sunday's just going to be even bigger. It just ramps up as we go throughout the weekend. So you thought today was exciting. Tomorrow's going to be even more exciting, and then, we don't even have to talk about how exciting the Daytona 500 is.
Right. I mean, I remember a couple years ago when we met up, and Saturday was awe. Like, I was just standing there in awe, and this was, the ARCA cars that are racing on Saturday, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, ARCA starts today, and then Xfinity comes right after them.
So we're sitting there, and we're just kind of, we're behind the pits, and it's like, man, this is awesome. And you're kind of seeing some popular people, if you will. And then Sunday comes, and you're bumping fists with Larry Fitzgerald, and Charlotte Flair's taking a picture with your buddy who's a huge wrestling fan, and just all of these, celebrities out of the woodwork, and you're right there in the thick of it with all of them. It was very mind-blowing. So Daytona 500, looking forward to a great time and a great viewing for the how many Daytona 500s have we had to this point?
This is the 67th Daytona 500 running all the way since 1959.
Man, great stuff there. And RJ, we really do appreciate you and all that you do for the sport of NASCAR and for us here at ESPN Northwest Florida. Hey, enjoy the races tonight. Enjoy Frankie Muniz. Maybe he won't be Malcolm in the middle, but Malcolm at the front at the end of this evening.
Yeah, no, for sure. I asked him the important question where he's going after if he gets the win. He said Outback, so he's getting a nice steak. So we'll see what happens tonight. Going to be a great weekend. Thank you guys as always. We're having fun out here.
Absolutely, man. You take care. That is RJ Starsvig. Y'all make sure to go over there to Instagram and give his Motor Stardom page a follow. Also, go to ESPNPC.com and click on his latest article, which is the preview for the Daytona 500. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we get back, we'll go over some of the local scores. Then I've got a couple of other topics to chat with James Fife. We'll be right back.
ESPN Northwest Florida. The Afternoon Underdogs.
Eagles win because?
Rage. Lots of rage. With all the scenarios surrounding the Chiefs right now, what better way to put a team out than to win because you're fueled by rage and just blind fury? I would love to absolutely see it happen. I mean, you guys are making great points, but I just want to talk mental game.
4 to 6 weekdays. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with ESPN Northwest Florida with your Friday's weather. Tonight there will be a gentle breeze out of the east, mostly clouds and 59. Clouds tomorrow morning, about the same at 71. In the afternoon and evening, partly cloudy and a moderate breeze right around 13 miles per hour with a high of 73. About the same at 70 Sunday, and we'll have a likelihood of thunderstorms in the morning, but otherwise some sun. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Love is in the air at Tracy's Fine Jewelry, and do we have a sweetheart of a deal for you? All diamond heart jewelry is on sale for 25% off. All color gemstone jewelry is 60% off at Tracy's Fine Jewelry. We also have a large selection of gold, silver, and estate jewelry that is sure to melt her heart. Folks have trusted us for 50 years to make their Valentine sparkle. This year, make it sparkle even more with a sweetheart of a deal from Tracy's Fine Jewelry.
Bringing you the world's #1 auto brand is a lot of fun. Camrys and Tacomas, Land Cruisers and Grand Highlanders. Toyotas are just built to be better.
And that's exactly how we built Panama City Toyota, to give you a better experience.
Where your needs always come first. Where you can relax with a great cup of coffee or browse the Heritage Collection. While we help you add the perfect vehicle to your collection. Come see us today at Panama City Toyota.
eat, sleep, game. This is your sports obsession. Now back to the Afternoon Underdogs. ESPN Northwest Florida.
And we're back. It's our final segment of the week. You're riding with the Afternoon Underdogs. This is ESPN Northwest Florida. We've got a big-time game in the SEC tomorrow. We've got your Auburn Tigers taking on those Alabama Crimson Tide tomorrow at 2:30. Coverage will start for a 3 p.m. tip. It's going to be a big-time game. Last time in college basketball that a number 1 and number 2 played in the regular season was Gonzaga and UCLA, and Gonzaga was the number 1 team. They took care of business 71-60 back in the 2021-2022 season. And then before that, it was 2016 where two teams from the same conference who were number 1 and number 2 played against each other. It was Kansas and Oklahoma. They played to triple overtime in 2016, and that's according to ESPN research. Also, there's, I don't know if any of you used to watch The Last Chance U, but there's 6 former East Mississippi community college football players who appeared in the documentary Last Chance U. They're suing the school, Netflix, the National Junior College Athletic Association, and the program's director over the way that they were portrayed. John Franklin III, Ronald Ollie, C.J. Rivas, DeAndre Johnson, Tim Bonner, and Isaiah Wright say that they're seeking $30 million in damages after receiving no compensation for their contributions to the project. They say they are holding the defendants accountable for the wrongful misappropriation of their likeness and to ensure fair compensation for their work.
Well, what contract did you sign?
Well, that's the thing. They said that they kind of got rushed in to signing the contract. It's one of those situations where being young kind of is one of the setbacks for you, and especially you're kind of there to play football. I wonder if NIL wasn't such a big deal the way that it is now, if this really is a big deal.
I mean, this is different than NIL to me because this is not really having to do directly with the school university and getting paid for your likeness to do things like that. Because I'm sure this is more associated with, I mean, the school is going to be part of the lawsuit. Yes, it happened at the school, but the main factor of the lawsuit is going to be the production company.
Yeah.
Now, what contract did you sign with that production company? Did you sign a contract that said, oh, yeah, I'll be on this, TV show and you don't got to pay me anything? Sign. If you do that, I mean, you've got to understand what you're signing. That's part of the legal process.
That's the worst part about it is, because I feel for them. I can understand where they're coming from to an extent. Now, it would be also interesting, how far is the portrayal of them from the reality of how they are in real life?
I've never watched an episode of it, so I'm not quite
and
sure.
I thought it was a very interesting show. The secretary was like the star of the show at that point. I mean, I'm sure that documentary might have helped, get them to some notoriety that they wouldn't have had without that, had they not made it back to Division I football, which I haven't followed the careers of any of these guys after watching them on Last Chance U. So it to me, it's just kind of one of those things that's we'll see how it plays out for you. You know,
got to see exactly how it read and who hires the better lawyer.
That's what it comes down to 9 times out of 10, right? Especially when we're talking about civil matters like that, financial matters. It's whoever's got the best lawyer is going to win 10 times out of 10.
Not 10 out of 10, but you're
9 out of 10. 8 out of 10?
You'll probably get out 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, somewhere in there.
We'll see who the judge goes along with. In high school basketball, in the girls' regional quarterfinals, Rutherford beat Bradford 44-32. They'll be moving on to the semis. You had South Walton beating FSU High by 2 points, 44-42, as they move on to the semis. And then Niceville almost doubled up on on Milton, 46-28. In the girls' regional semifinals, Holmes beats Graceville 64-30. Jay beat Paxton 59-45. Bluntstown all over Port St. Joe, 60-18. Malone beat Franklin 55-26, and San Jose Prep beat Rocky Bayou 67-27. In high school baseball, so glad to have some high school baseball back. You had Bozeman beating Destin 11-1. Walton beat Rutherford 8-3. Mariana beat Port St. Joe 9-1. Miller beat Bluntstown 15-3. Baker shutting out Rocky Bayou 10-0. Florala beat Laurel Hill 19-0, and Houston Academy beat Sneeds 16-6. I also know, I don't know any of the other schedules to this point, but Mosley and Arnold are going to be playing tomorrow afternoon. I believe it's at Mosley, but let me double check on that real quick. But Cooper Moss, I believe, is going to be on the bump there for the Arnold Marlins. Looks like we've already got some games going on tonight. Port St. Joe is behind Pelham right now in the 7th inning, 2-6. Franklin County and Monroe in Franklin County is in progress. You got Fort Walton Beach hosting Freeport, Miller County hosting Bluntstown, Chipley's hosting Vernon, South Walton hosting Cottondale, Northview hosting Walton, and Choctaw hosting Holmes County. Rickards is hosting Bay tonight at 7 p.m. Bay off to a hot start, and they're up 2-0. Arnold and Mosley over there at Mosley, 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. Both teams 1-0, and Niceville is hosting Pace tomorrow at 2 p.m. James, what do we want to talk about here? How about that obscure rule that do you still have that up on your laptop?
Let me find it here half a second.
All right, well, while he is pulling that up, again, we talked about Ronald Acuna Jr. earlier on in the show, and he says that he's at 90 to 95%. He's going to take it a little bit easier on the base paths. We will see how that all works out for him. He's almost completely recovered, and we just need him to be the best that he can possibly be this year. Along with Spencer Strider, will Reynaldo Lopez bring the production that he brought last year? Will Chris Sale be able to be what he was in 2024? And like Austin Riley said, if he can stay healthy, then that's what you're going to get out of the guy. That's what it comes down to, especially in the sport of baseball. It's a game of failure. It's a game of if you're great 30% of the time, you're going to be a Hall of Famer. And that's what we need out of the Atlanta Braves this year. That's what we need out of Chris Sale, out of Spencer Strider, out of Ronald Acuna Jr. Shoot, another one that doesn't get mentioned a lot, Ozzie Albies. Ozzie Albies needs to be healthy this year for the Braves to have the success that we would like to see them have, especially in that tough division, maybe the second toughest division in all of baseball, with the Braves, the Phils, the Mets. Nationals are going to be a surprise team, I think, for a lot of people. And then again, the cellar dweller, the Miami Marlins.
Feel sorry for them little Marlins. They got no luck.
Well, they just...
I don't even think it's really luck. I think it's just they are doing not good baseball things
right now. But when they were, when they're a brand new franchise, like World Series bound, and then they make 2 World Series already in their young franchise time.
Yeah, they have 2 World Series win. But let's look at it this way: out of all the times that the Marlins have made the playoffs, the only time that they have won a series in the postseason are the 2 times that they won the World Series.
Yeah.
You got to look at that one. And also, if you look at it, since they have become the Miami Marlins,
they've been
Florida Marlins,
1 playoff appearance in 2020.
No wins.
Yeah. Well, it's almost like Mike Trout in his playoff career as an Angels. We haven't even talked about this. What do you think about Anthony Rendon? Almost, I hate to say a disgrace to baseball, but he's going to miss the entire 2025 season now with the hip surgery. He's played like 20% of his contract, making a gazillion dollars. Obviously, I'm being facetious there, but a bunch of money from the Angels. Like, at what point, obviously, the contracts are guaranteed in baseball, but at what point do you try to make something happen with him?
Well, when you're Artie Moreno and you just do not run a good organization, keep him around to give him money for some reason.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why. I've heard the comment of Anthony Rendon hates playing baseball. I'll agree with that, but he apparently likes to be paid for baseball, but not play baseball. You're in a tough spot as the Angels there. You can let him go. You're going to have to give him all the money that you got to give him. You can probably talk to him after you fire him like, hey, we're just going to spread this out over 20 years and, give you $3 million a year or something, like Bobby Bonilla. But then again, you cut him, makes him free agent. He can go out and play baseball somewhere else. Now, out of the run that he's had with the Angels currently, I don't think anybody would touch him with a 10-foot pole except to maybe give him like a tryout minor league contract, and I don't think he'd take something like that. So I think Rendon's days are just basically done.
I think we'll table the baseball rule until next Thursday. Rendon should be done with the Angels. I guess if you're maybe making a playoff push and he gives you any type of difference, maybe play him, but I don't know, man. At the end of the day, he's not going to carry the weight.
He's not going to play this season, period.
He's not playing this year at all.
He's not going to play this season at all. You know, next year.
He's going to fake it. And here's my other thing. Why is he having surgery this close to spring training starting?
Did they just find it? Like when he reported, did he just walk in for a physical? Because all of these guys get a physical. One of the first things they do is you walk in and you get a physical, just like you go to the doctor, cough. You do one of those. Did just literally the medical training staff find something a few days ago and be like, oh, man, this guy's hips? Yeah, no.
That could be a possibility, right? And could be closer to the truth. But I also like to look at it, and it might be a nefarious way of looking at it, but it's like the guy has shown that he doesn't really care about playing the game. Did he, has he been hurt for a while? Goes through winter meetings and all of that stuff and is like, I'm just going to wait to tell the organization about this. Or maybe gets into, some sort of snow accident or something like that. I'm just going to wait to tell the organization about this whenever I'm getting my physical.
Yeah, we'll just wait so that way I don't lose any of my money.
Well, yeah. I don't think he'd be losing any of his money anyway.
Well, if you have guaranteed. Yes and no. If you're in a skiing accident and there is a direct link in your contract that says, I will not go skiing, you avoided your contract.
Yeah. But he doesn't. There's so many ways that that could be, I guess, navigated through. Either way, Rendon not playing in 2025. Last thing for sure is that y'all need to be listening right here to ESPN Northwest Florida tomorrow at 2:30. 3 p.m. will be the tip between Auburn and Alabama, but we've got a boatload of games for you as well. We're going to have coverage of coverage right here on ESPN Northwest Florida, 10:30 a.m. between Arkansas and Texas A&M. Then it's going to be Auburn and Alabama. Then we'll wrap it up at 6:45, 7 p.m. tip with Kentucky and Texas. So a day full of SEC basketball right here on ESPN Northwest Florida. Just leave your station or leave your radio locked into ESPN Northwest Florida. And if you get out of the car, then you can just go get the ESPN Northwest Florida app. Go to your Google Play or your Apple App Store, type in 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Y'all have a great weekend. Be safe out there, and just remember, Jesus loves you, and so do I.
Happy Valentine's Day.
We're not talking about no Valentine's.
It's the ESPN Northwest Florida Hall and Arts Magic Express.
Hey, Jason.
Yeah.
Dude, are you ready to go on the ultimate road trip to see the Orlando Magic?
Well, hell yeah.
You won the Hall and Arts Magic Express, dude. You're going.
Hell yeah. Let's do it.
Sponsored by PCB Hobby, Panama City Toyota, Hall and Arts, and Fairfield Hampton Inn on Thomas, and Home 2 Suites.
We're going to take you there. We're going to put you in a hotel, and we're going to stuff you full of food during the game in a luxury suite.